My name is Lori Santon. I teach psychology at Yale University, and today I want to talk to you about A-leaves. This lecture is part of a series on cognitive biases. Imagine that you're visiting the Grand Canyon and you decide to take a walk on their skywalk, a huge glass bridge suspended above the raging waters of the Colorado River. Now imagine that you head out to the middle of the skywalk and look down, and you see your feet resting on the clear glass, standing 4,000 feet up. How do you think you would feel? If you're like most people, you might feel pretty terrified. Your heart would beat faster, your palms would get sweaty, you might grip on the railing just a little bit tighter. But the fact that you feel this scared is pretty weird. After all, the skywalk is perfectly safe. It's bolted in place with hundreds of steel girders. It's exactly as strong as it would be if it were made with an opaque floor, and even stronger than it would be if it were only 400 or 40 or even 4 feet in the air. It's basically as solid as anything you have ever set foot on before. You also have lots of data showing how safe it is. Thousands of visitors walk along the skywalk every single year, and not a single one of them has fallen through. It's safer than crossing the street or riding in a car or even standing on a regular balcony. So why do you get so scared? What's going on? The disconnect between your belief that the skywalk is perfectly safe and your sense that you might fall to your death shows the power of what are known as A-leaves. A-leaves are automatic or habitual belief-like attitudes. They're the way we instinctively respond to stuff that we instinctively like or dislike, or even stuff that we're just really used to. The term A-leaf was coined by the philosopher Tamar Genдлер. She decided to use the word A-leaf because A-leaves are kind of like B-leaves, except they're affective and associative and automatic and irrational, so she called them A-leaves. When you're standing on the skywalk, you believe that you're perfectly safe, otherwise you wouldn't have stepped out there, but you also simultaneously A-leave that you're at risk for falling, hence the sweaty palms. And that's the interesting thing about A-leaves. They don't necessarily track what we actually believe to be true, like the fact that you'll be perfectly safe on the skywalk. The problem is that even when we realize our A-leaves don't reflect reality, that they don't match what we believe to be true, that they're perfectly irrational, our A-leaves don't just go away. They stick around and guide many of our behaviors anyway. It's this stickiness of A-leaves that makes them so strange. That's the reason we get scared at horror movies like Jaws, even though we know that the shark in the movie is just a bunch of plastic. And as the psychologist Paul Rozin famously showed, that's why we wouldn't want to eat a yummy piece of chocolate that's shaped like this. And as the cognitive scientist Fiery Cushman showed, that's why you don't like using a hammer to do this, even when you know the hand is just plastic. But A-leaves are also at work in more serious cases. If you've lived in a society structured by a legacy of racial bias, you may believe that African Americans and Caucasians are equal, but your A-leaves may reflect a whole host of implicit racial biases. If you have lived in a society where men tend to be doctors and women tend to be nurses, you may believe that women are just as good at men as science, but your A-leaves might be different. And, as many psychologists have recently shown, those biased A-leaves may play a bigger role in your hiring decisions more than you might think. So next time you hesitate to touch a plastic spider, or cry at a sad but fictional movie, or even notice some of your mistaken biases, you'll know that these are your powerful A-leaves at work.